What's up everyone, Luke Sam or F1 Luke Sam here, whatever floats your boat. Today I'm going to be ranking the 2022 liveries. Before we get started, two things. You might notice that I'm somewhere different, that's because I'm in a hotel but the grind never stops. And number two, my voice might sound a little bit different, that's because I have tonsillitis. If you want to hear more about why I'm here, I've spoken about it in my Discord, link in bio, but without further ado, let's get into it. I just want to preface this video and say I low-key love most of the liveries. I had a really rough time ranking these, so if you see your favourite livery in 4th, it might have been an 8 out of 10, but the one in 3rd is an 8.1 out of 10. That's how close it was. If your favourite livery isn't where you think that it should be, let me know in the comments. Just know I had a really rough time ranking them. I also did make a TikTok about this, but things have changed since then. I've compared every single livery next to each other, on track and in the showroom, and this is what I've come up with. In P10, we've got a team that always finds the bottom, Haas. Haas always weirdly find themselves at the bottom of anything I make. That's to do with drivers, constructors, liveries, how many people in their team look like rock stars, money. Their livery before they terminated their Russian sponsor was P100, the worst livery ever. But when they removed the worst parts, the red and the blue, it just left an all-white livery. Kinda looks dope, but then again, it's very plain, it's just all white.
We've all seen their new livery. I kind of like it, but I would still put it P10.
This one's the one I found easiest to rank because it's not nearly as exciting as P9. I feel bad for them and their circumstances, but I'm really excited to see them do better. Hopefully that starts next year. For now, P10. I'm going to say controversially, but in P9 we've got Alfa Romeo. A lot of people rate this livery. I think it's just bang average. It's a step up from last year. I like the rear wing, the Italian flag on that, and I like the 4-leaf clover. But I cannot tell you how much I hate the words Alfa Romeo. It looks out of place, it's the wrong font, it's just so wrong. If you like that, I respect that, but I respectfully disagree. If we're ranking helmets, they're all the way at the top, but we're not ranking helmets. It might be cruel, but they're in P9. In P8, we've got the Red Bull livery. Their last different livery was 2015. I still think it's sleek, but because they're not changing it, it's their own fault. There aren't many ways you could use them colours and those sponsors, but then again, it's Red Bull's fault. I also really don't like the nose of the car. It's just yellow. I don't know what it is about that part. I just don't like it. It's a low blow to Red Bull, and I'm sorry to rub salt in the wounds. The team that's P7 is Red Bull's sister team, AlphaTauri. Before I get into why this livery is so low, I just want to say I like it. The navy across the side of the car is chef's kiss. I love it, I love it, I love it. But why is it so low? I have no idea. There's just no standout features to this car. I love the nose, I love how AlphaTauri is written on the front wing, but the other liveries are just so good and they have standout features, whereas AlphaTauri don't. In P6, Williams is a massive change from last year, but I'm all for it. I'm not in love with the red around the car, but I can see myself getting used to it. I love the triangles, I love what they're trying to do, and they're definitely on the right path. But I think P6 comparing themselves to the other liveries this year is more than respectable. In P5, and the biggest shock since my TikTok video, we have the Silver Arrows Mercedes. This has dropped the most from release day to now in my books. When this livery was released, I was in a restaurant and I squealed like a little girl and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Since seeing it on track, it's one of the two cars this year where I think it looks better in the showroom than it does on track. I don't know, huge respect to Mercedes for bringing back the Silver Arrows. It looks fantastic. But comparing it to the other liveries that are higher than it, I don't know, there's just something missing. The other liveries are just better. In P4, a team that they should be at the top. They should be a lot higher. I just couldn't bring myself to put them there. We have McLaren. I love McLaren, and we all know that, but the livery is just a little bit over decent. Like every other livery this year, once it was dropped, I was so hyped. But comparing it in the showroom and on track to other liveries, I could not make myself put it any higher. I think it's a good idea. It looks really good on track and in the showroom. The glow in the dark is extremely, extremely brave, and I really hope it works. Sorry McLaren fans, but in my books, the MCL 36 belongs in P4. Now you may notice there's 3 teams left. We've got Ferrari, we've got Alpine, we've got Aston Martin. They are my top 3. In P3, controversially, we have Aston Martin. A lot of people put this higher, myself I did at the start, but again, comparing each one to each other on track and in the showroom, This one landed P3. When this one was dropped, I was just as hyped as every other person, but it's another rare occasion for myself where the livery looks better in the showroom than it does on track. I love how they've gone for a deeper green, but I still think that Aston Martin should be putting an even deeper green on their car. When it's on track in lighter conditions, the green just looks too light. It doesn't look like what an Aston Martin should look like. It's an upgrade from last year, especially the shade of green, but I bet it's a little bit lower than what you guys expected, hey? They say if you make a kid colour in a car, they're gonna colour it red. Ferrari, I've put P2 in livery rankings this season. It's a beautifully built car, it's a very wide boy, and I originally had this at number 1 with Mercedes. Once I singled out the livery and stopped looking at the build of the car, it did drop down to P2. Don't get me wrong, I love this livery. I don't think P2 is unjust. I think it's very respectable and it's very good for a Ferrari. For a team that's put a car in all red, they've still made it look really, really good. You see the Haas, they've put their car all white and they're in P10. Less to do with the livery and more about the build. I think it's very unique, I like it, and I'm really excited to see how their build works in 2022. But we'll see where they finish at the end of the season. For now, P2 in liveries is where I've put them, which only leaves one team. In first place for my livery rankings this year, I've put Alpine. Now the consensus around this livery is people either love it or they hate it. If you put this livery P4 or P5, you're a fence sitter. I'm sorry, you have to love it or you have to hate it. That's the way they've designed it. Now I'm just ranking their main livery, not their special liveries, but anyone who knows me knows I am a sucker for pink. Hell, I even wore pink to my graduation. I love the pink with the blue, two of my favorite colors. BWT as a sponsor was a great get for Alpine, especially looking at how beautiful their livery is. Alpine, if you release a mini to scale version of this car, consider it purchased by myself. Thank you, Alpine, you've done God's work. Well, there you have it. That's how I've ranked this year's liveries. Rank them below in the comments. I will be reading and replying to comments. Subscribe if you love Formula 1 and hit the like button for more. If you want to see another video by myself, make sure you let me know in the comments as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.